Hey, how are you guys? Nice to see you all. Thank you for watching my video one more time. Um, this has been an exciting time for me as well as for many others because we have been given a wonderful opportunity. And this is a time where we can stop everything and rewrite our history. Now, there is a very common phrase that I keep listening since long time ago, and that is the fear to something attracts that something. In Spanish is el miedo a la cosa atrae la cosa. Well, I would say the same thing the other way around. Let's flip it over. When you want something, you end up attracting that something positive, of course. I have been working with a lot of people who have been suffering panic attacks differently to other times where they were trying to achieve goals and master and conquer the world. But panic attacks are very common nowadays, and I am a little bit concerned. I am very concerned because when I keep listening to these people who have been going through a lot of crises in their lives within the last 2 or 3 weeks, is that there is a commonality in their conversation. Is I heard that in the news, I heard that on the radio, I heard that, I read this on Facebook. Now, let's be clear. And I'm a journalist, so I should be clear. News companies are making millions, if not billions, in profits. Their job is to make profit. Their job is to spread the news. Whether they are real or not real, that is their job. Nobody at this point is paying attention who's telling the truth or not. The people are just judging the news because they are in the TV or radio or internet or whatever. So, if you really want to talk about the virus, talk about facts. Facts. I mean, they're already talking about stay clean, staying far away from people, and work on developing certain habits that we already know by now, and I'm not going to talk about those today. I will talk about those in a different video. But right now at this moment, my only advice to people is turn off the TV, turn off that toxic friend on Facebook who is just publishing baloney and is hurting the landscape, and start doing something positive. I mean, let's be real. The pandemic, we're in the middle of this crisis, and we're in the middle of at the end of March in the year 2020. In case somebody's watching this video in the future, but yes, we're in the middle of the crisis, and at this point, according to the news, the world has come to an end, and that is not true. Number one thing, there are more people getting healed by their own immune system than people dying. And that is not being talked about in the news because that's not selling. That's not a selling point. The other thing, they are making such a big deal about anything, and a lot of politicians, they're just creating crazy laws like, okay, I am going to create a new law. So I am the next politician who says, okay, if you are standing in front of your window, that's going to be a new law. You cannot stand in front of the window, even though if you're out inside, because you can spread the pandemic. Politicians are just talking a lot of crap. Most of them, they have no clue of what is going on. Most of them, they don't have a medical training. Most of them, they just want to think about the next term. And that is reality. That is reality. So the only thing that we have to pay attention is, if you want to learn about what is going on with the world and with the pandemic, pick a side. Pick a scientific side, somebody with facts, and go through those facts, write them down, and keep it handy. And if you want to share with somebody, just keep that. Take a picture, put it on Facebook, put it on Instagram, put it wherever you want. But spreading fear is not going to solve the problem. Let's be sincere. Fear has never been an answer for anything. Nothing has been solved by expanding fear, except destruction, destroying a society, destroying a person. And this is the greatest time for us to think about whether we want to keep dealing with fear or we want to come out of this pandemic as brand new human beings. There was a recent study that in the year 2000, after the economical crisis that many rich countries suffered, specifically in the US, it was really big. There was an increment in suicides. Well, let me tell you, most of those suicides, after a while, they were talking that it wasn't the crisis what people was conducted to commit suicide. It was the fear to the crisis. And you might have been in a situation when you are scared of something. I was just talking to one of my friends, and I was telling her about the fear to a tarantula. The first time I grabbed a tarantula, and I don't recommend anybody to play with a tarantula, but I was really, really scared. I was really scared. But it wasn't until I primed myself not to be scared that the tarantula, this wasn't not a poisonous tarantula, so it was nothing to worry about. But it wasn't until I primed myself and self-programmed myself to eliminate the fear, I placed the tarantula in my hand and the tarantula walked in my arm. Now, what do I win with that? Do I win an award? I don't win anything. I just conquer a fear. Same happened to me with lizards, same happened to me with a snake. It was the fear where it was stopping me from grabbing a lizard, a small crocodile, or a snake. It was always the fear. And the fear was created by my own belief of something is gonna happen. I mean, the poor reptile was more scared than me, probably. And I wasn't doing any damage on this little animal. But this situation was what scared me at the very first time. So the question for all of you is, how much fear are you putting into this situation that is making your day worse? And how much of that fear is gonna stay in your system? You have a chance to change your life. And we talk about changing your life, and I keep saying the moment to change your life is the moment that you decide to do so. So you don't have to wait for the perfect sunset, you don't have to wait for the perfect table or the perfect moment. You just have to act upon your fear and say, this is the moment that I'm going to change. And today is the day that we have to change. I mean, by attracting fear, the fear to something, attract something. We're gonna get more fear. Guess what? If you're watching news that they're talking about how the world is coming to collapse to an end, blah, 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 your life is gonna come to a collapse, to an end, and it's not true. I mean, there is a pandemic, and obviously we have to watch out. We have to take care of ourselves. We have to take care of the elderly and the youngster and everybody, but the world is not coming to an end. We're just going through a transformation process that we haven't experienced before. And that is the real end. Life is never gonna be the same because now we're gonna have this experience to be a more fearful human being or to become a more empowered human being. So this is the perfect moment for all of us to start thinking about who is gonna be the person going outside on day one after this pandemic is over. How are you gonna present to the world? How are you gonna talk to yourself when you come back that night to bed? Start preparing for that moment. Start creating a new you. And by creating a new you, I mean start working on your fears. Eliminate your fears. Turn off the TV and start up your life. Start up a new life. I remember when I was 3 or 4 or 5 years old, around that age, that my grandfather, he was a man from the field, and he didn't have so many words, but he always had the exact words. And I remember one of my neighbors was going through a panic attack or something, and my grandfather came and he just told his mom, like, Look, uh, give him a machete. That's something that they used to cut off the grass. We don't. I was born in Costa Rica, and we didn't have like these fancy machines that you have that you sit down and you drive. No, it's a machete, and he told them, give him a machete and tell him to go and clean up this land. And I bet when he comes back this afternoon, he's not gonna be suffering from panic attacks. And I recorded those words. And by the way, in Spanish they sound so beautiful. Agarra un machete y que limpie este terreno. That's what he said. Pick up a machete and clean up this land. And guess what? Ever since that day, I've been thinking about that metaphor, the machete metaphor. And one of the things that I really want to tell you is pick up that machete, pick up the scissors, pick up the pencil, pick up something and start cleaning up your life and start rewriting your life. This is the greatest moment in your life because today you can change your life for good. And not only for you, but for your neighbor, for your community, for your county, for your state or province, for your country, for your continent, and for your planet. We are in a process of stopping. Stopping can create fear, and the fear to something attracts something, or we can establish knowledge as our ruler. And then, with knowledge, we attract more knowledge. So it is up to you to make that change. I cannot tell you, I cannot force you, but believe me, with all my heart, I really want to see all my friends and all my people that I don't know succeeding. I really want to see a better planet. And I really want to see a better planet with more people involved. And this is the perfect time in human history to start working on that. Have a great day.